Hello.
Are you ready, Keshava?
I'm ready. I'll put this down. Good evening, friends. Welcome to this evening's program of Soul to Soul, experiencing Swami Kriyananda's music. Swami, as we all know, probably said that if you want to get to know him, that we ought to listen to his music. And we're going to take it one step further, and we're going to sing his music. You all are going to be the virtual victims, as if you were in my choir during a choir rehearsal, and we're going to sing these songs. We'll talk about the lyrics, we'll talk about the melodic lines, and we'll just try to open them up to our own experience, because music is a language, just like any spoken language, that conveys consciousness. And when you use it unconsciously, its effects lay largely dormant. But when you dig in to what the melody is really trying to teach you, what you look at what the poetry is trying to express, and then you put that together with sensitive, open heart, then music can really transform you from the inside out. Swami Kriyananda said that if you want to change your consciousness, actually I should be careful, I don't know that he said this, but it seems to me, I think it has been said, and I'm paraphrasing, that if you want to change your consciousness, music is one of the most powerful ways to do that, because the vibration affects you at every part of your body, mind, and soul. So with that in mind, let's start with a prayer together, and let's try and tune in from the very beginning to the essence of this music, to that spirit of joy, to this new dispensation of God's grace come through this ray of Kriya Masters and through Swami Kriyananda to help bring in a new age of spirituality in Dwapara Yuga. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, dearest friend, beloved God, great Masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar, beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yogananda, saints of all religions, our friend Swamiji, we bow before you. Please be with us tonight. Open our hearts to this new music, to its uplifting vibration. Transform our hearts, purify our feelings, uplift our consciousness on the wings of this music. Help us to discover within ourselves that spark of divine joy, of divine love that will lead us home to Thee. Om, peace. Amen. Just a brief invitation before we jump in and start singing. Swami said that this music was a powerful force, and he said that you could use some of his music as antidotes for certain negative mental habits. And I don't know about you, but I have sometimes found myself tormented by negative mental habits. And it's not very much fun when you're going through that. And these songs are far more than just entertainment. They are far more than just cute ditties that we hear on Sunday. These are spiritual antidotes. This is spiritual medicine to help change your consciousness, just like a mantra, just like, you know, some special spiritual formula. That's what these are. It's just they're also beautiful and catchy and charming. But don't forget the power that they contain. I remember once being in a place of great despair and sorrow, and I didn't know what to turn to. I didn't know what to do. And so I listened to Swami's song, I Live Without Fear, on repeat. And it was like a lifeline for me. It was the only thread that I could hold on to. And that last line, the dancers will pass, the singing must end. I welcome the darkness with you for my friend, became like almost the mantra of that period of my life, and it carried me through it. And so I encourage you to use Swami's music not just as entertainment, but as a conscious path of attunement to this ray of grace, and to take one of these songs like as sadhana, and perhaps to listen to it every day, to sing it even better every day, to sing at any moment that your mind is wandering in delusion. To use this as a tool, like Hong Sa, to bring yourself back and just burst into song. I had a friend when I was a personal trainer, and at the time we sort of chuckled at it, but now I think it's really good advice. He was in a group, a spiritual, like Christian group, and the men were trying to overcome sensual desires. And the church leader at the time said, anytime you feel a sensual desire come into your mind or into your heart, just start singing a hymn out loud. And at the time, I thought that was almost like comical. My friend and I, he came and he told me that, and we started laughing like, how ridiculous. But now I'm sitting here thinking, that was really good advice, because it immediately changes your consciousness and it puts you in a very different vibration to have to sing, to generate that vibration, that consciousness. And it can really uplift you. As Asha put it in one of her talks, it's hard to be grumpy when you're singing, little Kathy went dancing, went dancing, went dancing. Like, you'd have to really be working at it. Like, they cannot exist together. And so as long as you're singing, you're safe. Just remember that. As long as you're singing, you're safe. And so use this music very consciously. Try and tune into the very essence of it. And more than just singing, let's try and tune into its still vibration at the heart of every note, at the heart of every silence between tones. And let's try and feel for that invitation that Swami put in every piece of his music to draw us deeper into attunement with Master. So now I'm going to sing us a song, and Sai Ganesh is going to come up and join me, and we're going to sing There's Joy in the Heavens. And just close your eyes if you like, or keep your eyes open, but I invite you to draw your attention to the wonderful fact that even the melody of this song is so evocative of joy. It bounces and dances and laughs and bubbles its way through. There's no plotting or plundering. The melody itself conveys the essence of the song, and the lyrics are also a joy. So I invite you to just put on your musical awareness cap and just appreciate with me the genius of this song. Aha.
There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. Leave home in the sunshine, dance through a meadow, or sit by a stream and just be. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. Men hunger for freedom, but don't see their dungeon is only the thought that they're bound. Desires are their shackles, the hope that tomorrow the doorway to joy will be found. Desires are their shackles, the hope that tomorrow the doorway to joy will be found. Excuse me. This is an informal night of music. There's joy all around us. There's joy all around us. Why wait till tomorrow? We've only this moment to live. A heaven within us is ours for the finding, a freedom no riches can give. A heaven within us is ours for the finding, a freedom no riches can give. There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. Thank you, Sai Ganesh. Sorry about the page turn error. These things happen, but they don't have to impede joy. Isn't that a wonderful piece of music? It's so joyful, so upbeat. One thing that struck me when I was singing this in preparation for tonight is the melody, just the melody by itself. Even if we strip away all the words and just sing the melody, ba bum bum ba dum bum ba bum 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 ba dum bum ba dum bum. The melody is constantly moving back towards that stable vibration of joy, is what it feels like to me. And every time the melody goes down, it's only so it can experience the joy of coming up again. And then at the end of every phrase, it's always moving slightly upward in aspiration. And then one of my favorite lines, the flowers are all laughing. And I realize, of course, when we laugh, our pitch usually goes up in tone. Or when we're particularly joyful. You know, you don't laugh, ha 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 ha. But even there, as I just laughed, the voice ascends. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. And just now, a melody aside, isn't the poetry of this song just incredible? There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. Oop, I forgot to put on my mic again. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. And the line that we sing over and over, or I guess it's only a few times, twice, the flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. Just visualize that imagine that you could hear the flowers laughing in appreciation of the start of the day. My mind sort of goes to those old animations I used to see as a child of the flowers with the little smiley faces on them, swaying in the wind, giggling as the wind passes through the leaves. Isn't that beautiful? But just imagine that, these beautiful summer sunrises that we're getting early in the morning when everything is still, but life is just beginning to stir and light is coming into the world, that the flowers are laughing to welcome the morning and that your soul is as free as the air. The second verse, now I'll just go through some of the poetry together and then I'll sing it again and we can just appreciate it a little more deeply. Leave home in the sunshine, dance through a meadow, or sit by a stream and just be. And I love this because here in America, we're often so caught up in being human doings instead of in human beings. And really, yoga ultimately is that process of interiorization and learning to be totally still and calm and content within ourselves. And that's what he's talking about. Or sit by a stream and just be. That contentment is not dependent on any outward circumstances, that we can just experience the inherent joy of God in everything. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. Isn't that just incredible? Swami's poetry is lovely. I love the lilt of the water because that's almost as if the water was speaking to you. Like we would sometimes use that phrase lilt like in relationship to how someone speaks perhaps, like an Irish lilt or something like that. Perhaps there's other connotations, but that's what it came to me. And so then this idea of sitting by a stream and just being, but you're not alone, that you're being with God, and that even the water trickling by is talking to you, and that its playful, joyful lilt is gathering all your worries like a good friend and it's just washing them away down to the sea. And then this third verse has been one that's puzzled me for many years. I'm very proud to say that I think I finally understood the essence of his poetry here. It's not rocket science, but it took me longer than I would like to admit. And it's, men hunger for freedom, so far so clear, but don't see their dungeon is only the thought that they're bound.
Now, when you just sing this, especially when you start singing this as a young boy like I did, it's easy to just run right over those words, and they just turn into words, 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 and you don't understand what Swami's really saying here. And it finally occurred to me a number of years ago that he's saying the only thing that keeps mankind, from an experience of that inner freedom that they so desperately desire is the thought that they don't have it. Men hunger for freedom but don't see their dungeon is only the thought that they're bound. Desires are their shackles, the hope that tomorrow the doorway to joy will be found, that we're always looking to the future for our happiness instead of realizing that joy is inherent in every moment. That Swami Kriyananda, it's so funny that I instinctively say Kriyananda, but of course we all know who I'm referring to, would say that if you want to feel joy, don't pray for joy, but pray with joy, live with joy. And you'll discover that in that act of trying to raise your consciousness to meet joy, you'll find it within you. And then he delivers the punchline. There's joy all around us. Why wait till tomorrow? We've only this moment to live. As someone put it to me once, they said, if you are looking forward to the future, at some future construct when you expect to be happy, you're not living in the present, so you're not happy because you're projecting yourself to the future. But then even when you get to that future, you have to be in the present moment to enjoy that future. And so if you only practice living in the future, you'll never enjoy that future even when you arrive at it. So you only have this one moment to live. And if you truly embrace that, then you can discover that there's something enjoyable to be found in everything. A heaven within us is ours for the finding, a freedom no riches can give. And then the final verse, which is a reprisal of the first. There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. So now let's sing it again. And Sai Ganesh, if you want to jump back up, you're welcome to. And I invite you, sing with me. As Yogananda would say, I am singing, sing with me, with all the devotion of your soul. Or something like that. But if you don't know the lyrics, the last two lines of every verse repeat. And so we'll sing it once, and then you can join in on the melody then. Okay.
There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. Leave home in the sunshine, dance through a meadow, or sit by a stream and just be. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. Men hunger for freedom, but don't see their dungeon is only the thought that they're bound. Desires are their shackles, the hope that tomorrow the doorway to joy will be found. Desires are their shackles, the hope that tomorrow the doorway to joy will be found. There's joy all around us, why wait till tomorrow? We've only this moment to live. A heaven within us is ours for the finding, a freedom no riches can give. A heaven within us is ours for the finding, a freedom no riches can give. There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. Bravo! It's fun to sing, isn't it? One thing that I want to emphasize that maybe my guitar playing is underscoring on my behalf. Oh, thank you, Sakinesh. Which is that you don't have to sing these perfectly to gain a lot of benefit from them. They don't have to be perfectly polished. You don't have to be Pavarotti, excuse me, to sing these and to gain a lot of benefit from them. But just sing them. Can you imagine what good would come if when you woke up in the morning, this song was what greeted your subconscious mind instead of whatever else might be there, lurking? So the next song I wanted to take a look at together is one of a slightly different tone, and this is Walk Like a Man. And Swami's music traverses such an incredible variety of consciousness and vibration that there's really a song for every moment, a song for every time. And this is a song for when you need courage, confidence, calmness, but it also delivers some really profound spiritual truths, as Swami is always wont to do. But feel as we sing this song that it is giving you the firmness of spirit to adhere to your principles, to adhere to truth, no matter what.
Walk like a man, even though you walk alone. Why court approval once the road is known? Let come who will, but if they all turn home, the goal still awaits you. Go on alone. Follow your dream, though it lead to worlds unknown. Life's but a shadow, once our dreams have flown. What if men cry, your dream is not our own? Your soul knows the answer. Go on alone. Give life your heart, bless everything that's grown. Fear not the loving, all this world's your own. Make rich the soil, but once a seed is sown, seek freedom, don't linger. Go
Thank you, Saganesh. Isn't that lovely as well? One thing that struck me about this piece of music that I'd like to highlight for us is it's very definitive and strong in its musical phrasing. Rhythm is an important element of any musical piece, that rhythm conveys, if I remember correctly, I think the melody, Swami said, conveys the aspiration of the heart, and rhythm, I'm forgetting what he said about rhythm, but rhythm's important. And it's the example that springs to mind is perhaps one of the most famous and highly regarded pieces of classical music ever written, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, which if you don't know by me just saying that, you'll know in a second. It goes like this: bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum. Very simple as far as the pitch is concerned. It's just a few pitches, but that rhythm is immediately iconic. It immediately conjures up that entire symphony, and it immediately says so much. If you ever hear that performed live, those first few notes, whoa, they grab you. And what David Eby, my music teacher growing up, pointed out to illustrate the power of rhythm is he said, if you take that piece of music and you change the rhythm just a little bit, instead of bum 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 bum, if we go bum ba dum bum, bum ba dum bum, it takes away all of its power, doesn't it? All of a sudden, instead of being this grand, declarative, dramatic opening to a symphony, it's just sort of like, I don't know, it doesn't have much. And so it's interesting that in this piece, in Walk Like a Man, Swami uses some very strong rhythmic patterns, which normally, I don't normally hear him use. And I'm saying this loosely because it's not like I've done a scientific examination, but in the piece Walk Like a Man, walk like a man, every word is falling on a downbeat. And that's whenever a note falls on the downbeat, it gives it like a declaration of power and affirmation. And Swami pointed out that in modern music, the overemphasis of every downbeat emphasizes the ego in a negative sense and is in a contractive sense. But in this way, I wonder if it's emphasizing the right use of ego and courageous self-offering and courageous self-expanding courage to embrace a greater reality, to embrace Dharma, to embrace the truth, no matter who walks with you. Walk like a man, even though you walk alone. Can you hear how now all of a sudden the emphatic words all fall on those downbeats? And that it gives it a lot of soul strength. I'll just sing that one more time. Walk like a man, even though you walk alone. Isn't that incredible? All of a sudden it just jumps out at me. That's why I wanted to sing it again, because I enjoyed it. And then the second line is the same. Why court approval once the road is known? He's being very emphatic about the placement of those syllables on those downbeats. And so when you sing this, be aware of that. Use that as a conscious tool to engage your will, to engage your feeling, to engage your full cooperation with this affirmation. That, for example, if we were to sing, walk like a man, even though you walk alone, it lacks all of that power, doesn't it? But the way I just sang it would be like how a pop singer might do a remix of this. And it takes away all of its declaration. And so when you sing this, especially when you sing this as a spiritual tool, lean into the effect Swami had in mind, that power, the affirmation, the dedication, the declaration. So let's sing it together again. Saganesh is going to get his cardio in tonight, running between the camera and on stage. Okay.
Walk like a man, even though you walk alone. Why court approval once the road
And you may have noticed, as the song progressed, it felt appropriate not to be so strong, because the lyrics soften. Give life your heart, bless everything that's grown. Fear not the loving, all this world's your own. Make rich the soil, but once the seed is sown, seek freedom, don't linger, go on alone. And so, just like an affirmation, perhaps when you sing this song, you can start with great affirmative power and then grow a little softer and a little more interiorized until that final verse, when you repeat the first lines, it might be a little softer, a little more inward, but not with less power, but with just greater interiorization of that power. This would be a fantastic song to sing if you ever had any doubts that assailed you, or if you ever felt that you weren't able to adhere to truth in the face of criticism. This would be a wonderful song for you. The next one that I want to sing is the Song of the Nightingale. It's such a lovely piece. And one of my favorite things that helps me tune into this piece is the simple realization that apparently the nightingale is a symbol for the Guru, because it's the bird that sings through the night, and that it heralds the coming of the dawn. And so, too, the Guru sings through the night of our delusion and heralds the dawn of our coming realization. So as we sing this song, Nightingale, think of it not so much, and this is just sort of what I do, I'm not sure if this is formally supported. But think that we're not so much singing about a bird, but think that we're singing to our Guru, and that we're asking that nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach my heart to impart everywhere your delight. And let's let this be an invocation to that Guru, to the Guru's power.
Clouds of gloom into light. Without silence, what is song? Without night, where is dawn? Were it not for men's woes, who would smile at our rose? Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Let each tone silence groan, earth and heaven unite. Morning laughter, evening tears, snow and blossoms all fade. Joy must sing in the night to face change unafraid. Nightingale, nightingale, nightingale.
It's short, but it's so sweet. I'm not even sure really where to start with this song. It's just so complete in itself. Hard to break it down at all. I suppose maybe just loving it is enough. But let's take a look at the words, because as always, Swami's words impart so much wisdom. Sing, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach my heart to impart everywhere your delight. What an incredible prayer that is. That why wouldn't we want to constantly be uttering that prayer sincerely to the Guru? What's wonderful about singing it in music is it can bypass your subconscious resistance. I don't know if you sometimes fall into this category, but sometimes the subconscious mind resists me and says, not another prayer, not another sincere soul call. Like, I've had enough for the day. Leave me alone. But song, okay, I'll sing another song, especially when it's beautiful. And this is beautiful. And then you're constantly uttering such an incredible, sincere prayer. Teach my heart to impart everywhere your delight. Just imagine, what would that really feel like? What would that be like? To feel that your heart was like a lighthouse station radiating the delight of your Guru everywhere. Sing of moon rays on the rain. Just the poetry. Think of that, the moonlight glittering off of the falling rain. So etheric, so astral, like falling silver showers from heaven. Sing that love's not in vain. So sweet again. Love's not in vain, because all love leads us closer to God. Every grief, every wrong has its ending in song. And apparently Swamiji said that this was one of his favorite lyrics in his songs, was this line, every grief, every wrong has its ending in song. That, as Asha has put it, if it's not a happy ending, the story's not over yet. And something I like to think about is when at the end of a great story, at the end of a great journey of a hero, when you finally reach that moment of exaltation in literature, there's such a great feeling of exaltation, isn't there? And it's made only the greater by the journey, by the hardship, by the trials that bring us to that point. And just think of how great of a celebration it will be when our souls finally find liberation in that song of the divine. I heard it secondhand that Master said, whenever a soul finds freedom, there's a celebration in the astral world. Every grief, every wrong has its ending in song. And then the second verse, teach all men how to spin clouds of gloom into light. That's the true alchemy right there, is being able to transform difficult circumstances into beauty. Without silence, what is song? Without night, where is dawn? Were it not for men's woes, who would smile at a rose? So beautiful. I love that last line. It always really gets me. That, of course, it's sometimes the trials we go through that make us appreciate the sweetness. And that line, without silence, what is song? I grew up playing classical cello, and I played the Blue Danube, that famous waltz. Da 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 dum, bum 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 bum. And it has perhaps one of the most famous grand pauses of all time, which just means that the entire orchestra falls silent. And you probably know exactly what I'm talking about in music, but it's when it goes da 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 da. Oh, actually, that's not even quite how it goes. I forget. But there's a line at the end when it has this ascending current of the melody, but then instead of giving you the resolution that we've heard 50 times in the previous parts of the piece, there's just this moment of pause. And it feels just like what I just did. It feels like an inhalation, like this incredible anticipation of what's to come. Na da da da, na da da da. And then the melody continues into this beautiful and joyful resolution. But it's such an effective part of music because you suddenly realize that the contrast is so much of what beauty is. That we realize in that moment of great silence that you appreciate the music so much more, that your heart becomes sensitized to those next notes that come. It's just a magical thing to hear that performed live. It's like everybody's breath is drawn out of their bodies in that moment in the Blue Danube. It's just magical. And so that's what Swamiji's saying here. Without silence, what is song? Without night, where is dawn? Were it not for men's woes, who would smile at a rose? And so maybe if we sing this song enough, it will teach us how to appreciate everything in our life with equal joy, because we'll just be able to see that it's different shades of Divine Mother's paintbrush in our life. Bo. Let's sing it again. Saganash, do you want to join me? So please, sing with me if you're able. Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. That's the same line every 3 verses, so you can at least get that much. The only grade you'll get for this evening is based on participation. Okay. Oh, thanks.
Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach my heart to impart everywhere your delight. Sing of moon rays on the ring, sing that love's not in vain. Every grief, every wrong has its ending in song. Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach all men how to spin clouds of gloom into light. Without silence, what is song? Without light, where is dawn? Were it not for men's woes, who would smile at a rose? Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Let each tone silence grow, earth and heaven unite. Morning laughter, evening tears, snow and blossoms of fate. Joy must sing in the night to face change unafraid. Nightingale, nightingale, nightingale.
Let's take a second and just try to absorb the feeling of that piece, its promise. And we'll close this evening with the final song, Where Has My Love Gone? And I'll talk about it briefly, and then Sai Ganesh will come and we'll sing it together. It's got 5 verses, so we won't sing it twice. We'll just sing this in conclusion. But this is an incredible, beautiful song that Swamiji called a mystic love song. And it tells the story of someone who has lost their lover, and he's searching for her. And now that I'll just read the lyrics. Where has my love gone? Long are the nights. Now that she's left me, dimmed my delights. Where is my love friend? Passed she this way? Saw you her smile? Ah, what did she say? And then he just continues to ask, ah, passed she here, my sweetheart? Passed she here? And every verse, the lover describes this mystical lover that he's missing, and you get a taste of what their love was, and it's so sweet. But then he doesn't understand why she's gone. And this is sort of my personal hypothesis. From being an actor, I always like to try and understand the plot, the arc of the story. And I'm not sure if Swami endorsed this particularly, but it seems to make sense to me. But if you get in trouble, you can tell them that I said this and they can come after me for it. But I like to think about this, that this is about a man who was deeply in love with a very saintly woman, and then she left the body. And so he's asking, where is my love gone? Because she's left this plane. And he talks about their love together, and he says things like, could she not linger? Must even she rise and depart like mist on the sea? That it's not that she's packed her bags and moved to Australia. It's that he can't find her anymore because she's no longer here. And then, but what's beautiful is at the end of the song, he describes it, he says, there by my bed she left me a note. Can you explain these words that she wrote? And then in quotes, seek me, she said, love out by the sea, out on the sea, boundless the reaches of true love must be. And so this is sort of the foundation of my hypothesis, and it illuminates the song to me in a certain light, that what if his lover was a very saintly woman who left her body consciously and was whispering to him from beyond the confines of the human body, and was whispering to him, seek me out on the sea of cosmic consciousness, boundless the reaches of true love must be. And that her love for him is sort of calling him, coaxing him into a higher consciousness. And this is very, very sweet for many reasons. I'm a bit of a romantic, but isn't it so sweet when the feminine energy inspires through beauty, through charm, through inspiration, inspires the masculine energy to aspire for higher spiritual depths? That's, in astrology, that's sort of the purpose of Venus influencing Mars. And that's the feminine energy influencing the Mars masculine energy in a certain light. And so that gives this song a certain sweetness. And as I inhabit a male body, I feel the pull of this song beautifully, that there is a divine lover who is calling me to find her embrace in infinity. So let's try and tune in to that essential soul yearning within each of our hearts that's calling out to our divine beloved, like Radha to Krishna, calling out to be one with our beloved at last. Ganesh, would you like to come sing with me? Oh, I've got the mic stuck. I encourage you to listen carefully to the lyrics, because they paint just an incredibly beautiful narrative. I'll just do a few rounds of the first arpeggiation.
Where has my love gone? Long are the nights now that she's left me, dimmed my delights. Where is my love friend? Passed she this way? Saw you her smile? Ah, what did she say? Ah, passed she here, my sweetheart, passed she here. Sweet was her promise when first we met. Whispers of heaven made me forget heartaches and labors, earth-searing pain. Rest now, she said, you found love again. Ah, passed she here, my sweetheart, passed she here. Surely she lied not, heaven did shine, piercing the darkness, love then was mine. Could she not linger, must even she rise and depart like mist on the sea? Ah, passed she here, my sweetheart, passed she here. Life's made of dreams, friend, dreams that must break, quickly dispersing when we awake. Strange that when love calls, memory stays, crying across the tides of our days. Ah, passed she here, my sweetheart, passed she here. There by my bed she left me a note. Can you explain these words that she wrote? Seek me, she said, love out on the sea. Boundless the reaches of true love must be. Ah, passed she here, my sweetheart, passed she here.
Let us all take a moment and feel in our hearts for the blessings this music contains, feeling its invitation to a higher awareness of our soul and of our divine love, of that divine joy, yearning to return to God. Let's close with a very brief prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, dearest friend, beloved God, great masters, we bow before you, our friend Swamiji. We are very grateful for the gift of this music. Bless us with ever deeper attunement and receptivity, that its sacred vibration might transform our hearts at last into oneness with Thee. Om. Peace. Amen. Good evening, friends. Thanks for joining us. Dang.